Well, we have come to this, ladies and gents. I am now fairly certain that we live in a universe that is governed heavily and overwhelmingly by Murphy's laws, because no matter how bad one thing is, the potential for it to become even worse is always there, and this case is the prime example of exactly that. Things have gotten from bad to worse to an absolute fucking shit show. Greetings, ladies and gents, my name is Helzo, the bearded Balkan blabbermouth, and today we're going to again cover everything that we have been covering in the last video, plus a lot more, and that is the collective shout, the censorship, and the amazing stuff that have been happening with UK and the EU and the United States, and the censorships that are looming over our heads in every direction, not just in gaming, not just in pop culture, every fucking where. But before the video continues, please, if you enjoy my content, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, becoming a member, or leaving at least a comment and telling me what you think about the whole situation. It will greatly support the channel and it will push us into the algorithm. Thank you very much, and now back to the video. So this whole thing started with Collective Shout, which I have covered in the previous video before, who were very active in trying to censor unneeded and savory games on Steam and on other platforms. This is an Australian Karen group that is comprised of 50 or 60 plus year old women that just don't like the modern stuff, and they did it in the pretense of censoring games that depict sexual assault or hypnosis or collusion or stuff like that that they don't like. And while they do have the right to say their piece, they were targeting very niche games in order to get their foot in. And when they did that, when Steam bent the knee and started censoring games, they moved further and further. They have started colluding with Visa and mastercard that are now facing backlash because they're refusing to have any transactions and to process transactions for certain undesirable games. And now they're facing an absolute wave of calls and emails from gamers and from people who don't want to have their services censored and restricted. And since they're the two main processors of money in the world, they're getting slammed right now because they're trying to exercise oppressive monopoly. And this was pretty much it until a certain point. Then it became very, very bad for a lot of people because UK has introduced the child protective, and for a time, and that should have been it. The collective shout thing was a very gamer centered and just removing content, and gamers were acting against it, and this was the war that was being fought for a few days. Then something else happened, and that was when UK introduced the Online Safety Act, which is an absolute abhorrent thing that is happening because it will censor and will request age verification through documentation and through selfies and through basically a lot of personal information on basically every social platform ever. We were talking about Discord, Viber, all of these platforms that you're only using your username and some vague data that you don't consider it to be the factual one, or at least revealing your true names and stuff like that. Well, no more. They want to have this everywhere. They want you to have verification everywhere, all in the name of protecting children. So I don't see personally how you being verified for a Discord server is going to protect children, but I know what it will do. It will allow them to de-anonymize and reveal all information, to be able to track you better, to be able to make a profile of you better, and to weed out the undesirables and those people who talk against certain topics. Naturally, this made a lot of people use VPNs, and the VPN usage surged something like 1800%. And of course, the UK's government's response was the following.
Using VPNs, let me just say to you directly, verifying your age keeps a child safe.
Sure.
Keeps children safe in our country. So let's just not try and find a way around. Just prove your age, make the internet safer for children, make it a better experience for everyone. That's surely what we should aspire to in this country. for everybody who's
Yeah, so that's what they want to do, and I don't really know how they're gonna do it, because let's say that I have a kid and the kid wants to browse on the internet. I am very busy, but I have verified my age and he's using my account. What are we doing here? It's the same thing. It's gonna use my account. The kid's gonna use my account. It's not gonna use his account. It's gonna use my account, and he's gonna have the same freedoms, and he's gonna be able to search everything that he wants. How is this any different? You're just gathering information. But it didn't stop there. We have this from Pirate Nation as well. All new UK cars will have breathalyzers and black box style recorders under Labour plans to align with the EU. So breathalyzers is something that has been talked about for a long time in cars, to not be able to start the car if your alcohol level is above a certain percent. That is something that is actually a pretty neat idea if it works properly, but the black box style recorders means that they're gonna have full-on data at all times as to where you are. They're gonna be able to get it from the manufacturer, they're gonna be able to get it from the local servers, and they're gonna be able to track you each and every step of your way. No more road trips by yourself, no more anything, and they're all doing it for safety, you know, safety, and everybody has to be safe. So you should all be out in the open, and you should not have any of your own little secrets. But wait, there is more. As for YouTube is going to start using AI to determine whether US viewers are over or under the age of 18. The rollout starts on August 13. And here is how it's going to work. We will use AI to interpret a variety of signals that help us to determine whether a user is over or under 18. These signals include the types of videos a user is searching for, the categories of video they have watched, or the longevity of the account. When the system identifies a teen user, we will automatically apply our age-appropriate experiences and protections, including disabling personalized advertising, turning on digital well-being tools, adding safeguard to recommendations, including limited repetitive use of some kinds of content. If the system incorrectly estimates a user to be under 18, they will have the option to verify that they're 18 or over, such as using a credit card and a government ID. We will only allow users who have been inferred or verified as over 18 to view age-restricted content that may be inappropriate for younger users. So basically, it is over. It is over for anyone who wants to just browse the internet and just have the freedom to do so. You cannot have it anymore. You have to give your information to one or two or more governments, no matter what you want to do. They're trying to take your anonymity. And as I have mentioned before, this is very, very linked. First, it was Collective Shout, then it was Visa and MasterCard starting restricting, then it was the UK Child Protective Act, then it was this with AI with YouTube, and it is all happening simultaneously, which means that this is something that has been talked about by certain corporations around the world, and it has been aligned to be simultaneously and to be in sync with one another. This is not something that is just happening like that, and we have already seen that it's starting to work. Spotify in the UK restricts some music behind facial verification and ID. This is again from Pirate Nation. Age verification is required to certain content. Use our facial age check. If inaccurate, verify with ID. We have also seen this from the BBC and again posted by Pirate Nation. Apple withdrew its data protection tool after a UK government security dispute. This means that Apple has, or at least had, a data protection tool which would make only the user be able to see their specific data, and because the UK wants it, Apple is now pulling it off, making this information vulnerable. We also have EU age verification app to ban Android apps not licensed by Google, which also means that any sort of free apps and apps by small developers and stuff like that that are not specifically verified to the fullest by Google will be restricted, if not banned at all. And on top of that, you have a very blatant ignore from the UK government regarding something very important. We have the Repeal the Online Safety Act, which is a petition that has very quickly garnered a lot of support. The current is 430,621. You just saw that it was going up, and it is going up very, very fast. You have Mike Fairclough, who says the Online Safety Act is the biggest assault on free speech in modern British history. I agree. Unless they resist it, Britain will become a digital surveillance state, which is something I completely agree, because the premise of the online safety and every digitalization and every ID means that they have your data, they have your personal data, they have your login access, they have everything that they need to keep 24-hour tabs at all time. And if you don't believe me, and if you think that they're doing this out of the goodness of their heart, just take a look at something else. This is the response of the government, who responded to that petition, which needed 100,000 in order to be taken seriously, as we like to call it. And it says, I would like to thank all of those who signed the petition. It is right that the regulatory regime for in-scope online services takes a proportionate approach, balancing the protection of users from online harm with the ability of low-risk services to operate effectively and provide benefits to users. The government has no plans to repeal the Online Safety Act and is working closely with Ofcom to implement the act as quickly and as effectively as possible to enable UK users to benefit from its protections. Basically, a fuck you to anyone who is concerned and everyone who wants to raise their voice against it. This is what they do. And just so we don't leave anyone behind, Australia plans to ban YouTube for users under 16. This is an outright ban for anyone under the age of 18. And the UK households could face VPN ban after use skyrockets over online safety bill, as we mentioned a little bit earlier in the video. And of course, America is trying to implement the Kids Online Safety Act, which is basically the same, and it will have the same kind of scope, if not even more. It will de-anonymize every information on the internet and will involve massive censorship, allegedly, apparently. So what is all this? So what can you say that is happening? Because this is very, very simultaneous, very close to each other, and very collectively put out by all those governments. It's not something incidental, and I do have a theory of what is happening. They're trying to establish a huge control and to see how far they can push that control before everyone rises up very, very physically against them. And they're doing it at the very right time, because the whole world is in chaos. You have increasing inflation, you have wars, you have destabilization. So this is the right time to basically introduce those laws and not meet sufficient resistance to passing those laws, and that will help them completely have the control that they need of the internet, because the internet is a free place. The internet still provides you anonymity, it still provides you the ability to safely look at some stuff and to communicate with like-minded people, even to argue with not like-minded people, and to engage in discourse, to engage in different opinions, to search for unfiltered information, and to receive news that are not clean and cut through the government established news agencies that only give you half the information, and they feed you a narrative that you would follow and would base your opinion in. The internet is an unfiltered beast, and you can see all the information, all the angles, you can see the whole truth very oftenly, and you can fact check everyone who tries to push their worldview and their oppressive view stance on you. And that's something that the people in power, in my opinion, want gone. They want to have the control, they want to feed you the narrative, they want to feed you the reality that you would live in for the rest of your life. They want that, because when you have people who are reality oriented and who do live in an actual reality, they're going to fight against, they're going to inform the people that are being indoctrinated, and that makes things like obedient people and a very calm, very docile nation very difficult. And that's not just in gaming. Censorship in gaming is just one small part. You have news, you have music, you have movies, you have everything, and they want everything to be by their design and to have the future generation by their design, at least in my humble opinion. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how this is going to progress. I know that it is happening way faster than anyone even thought imaginable, and they're doing the massive push all at once in order to probably push the furthest as they can before the resistance becomes too great. I do hope that that resistance is quick in their response, and nothing that these governments do comes to fruition, and I do hope we retain our freedom of internet for a long time. But that depends on us raising our voice, on making these videos, on not staying quiet. This is how we fight. This is what we do. We use our voice and we refuse to stay silent. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment down in the description below. Tell me your opinion. Share this video if you wanted to reach more people and make them join the movement and make them express their voice. If you enjoy my content, press the subscribe button and support the channel. And if you want to help homeless animals and animals in shelters, become a member of the DiscussThing Guild. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Kelso. This was DiscussThing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers and stay fresh.